If you've been around Warhammer since maybe like mid-2000s, around 6th edition, you probably know this terror up here. This guy is the original XV88 Broadside Battlesuit. Nothing more than a jumped up crisis suit with a ton of guns. And what's not to love about that? Back then I was collecting a little bit of Tau. My main was Space Marines, and I barely had enough money to get that army together, let alone a second, so I wound up pitching it, selling it off. But I'm back.
We are back, baby!
And I love the new Broadside suit. It looks really cool, but what I want to do is recapture some of that railgun on the shoulder, old school vibe. I thought it was really cool, and I just want to bring that back. So we're going to be doing some converting, taking the new kit, and having a little fun with it. So in order to get that old school Broadside Battlesuit look with the new Broadside Battlesuit kit, what we're going to do is make some modifications to this arm and the weapon attachment, and some little bits on the weapon. Nothing too crazy. It gives you a really good finished look, and it's not too hard to achieve. Bonus points for the internet sleuths out there. If anybody can tell me what currency this is, because there's obviously no way I'm paying $465 USD for this thing, and I'd be kind of interested in knowing where this came from. Alright, I'm just going to tear through these build instructions and build all the way up to here, 3A. You can pretty much do everything up to this step without any modifications and still get this end result. So I'm just going to power through this, and I don't think you want to watch step by step, minute for minute, so I'll be back in a sec. Alright guys, so we are back to real time. What we've got now is all the bits from the weapon is over here. All I've done here is cut out everything from 3A and 3B, and then rather than do the assembly in 3C, we're just going to get a little bit creative. So the easiest thing to do is to assemble the railgun, and then we can make our modifications after it's assembled. For those not familiar with what's going on here, I'm using a thing called sprue goo. This is Tamiya thin cement, plastic glue, with some cut up sprue bits in it. You literally just chop up your sprue, put it in there, it'll dissolve into it, mix it up really good, and then you get a really nice gap filling cement. You have to do a little extra cleanup on it when you're done. If you're doing it the way I'm doing it, I go pretty heavy, but I want all of those gaps gone. For me, it works really good. I don't mind the extra time. So now that our barrels are assembled, what I'm going to go ahead and do is come in with one of these razor saws, and we're going to cut just behind this vent, because we need this hand. This is part of the hand that connects to your arm, and if we don't have this, then obviously we're not going to be able to make it look like he's holding it. And if you wanted to, I suppose you could cut this off and then just make it only shoulder mounted, but I want to have him holding on to it. So just come back in here, make a couple cuts, and it'll come right off. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup on the edge there so there's not any rough spots. If you don't have a little saw like this, you don't necessarily need to go buy one. You can, they're pretty useful if you're doing a lot of converting. You could just be using your X-Acto and just score it over and 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 over. It'll work, it'll get you there, but this is a little more efficient, a little bit quicker. So now what's going to happen here is this needs to mount up onto the body here. I'm going to go ahead and make one additional cut here. You can do as much of this as you want or as little as you want, just whatever gives you the vibe you're going after. You can see here in this one how I've done it. This would be just simply mounting this up, cutting this cylinder right here, and mounting it here. Obviously the shield bit can still go where the shield bit goes. What I'm going to do on this next one though is take this entire assembly off and transfer it to this side, make it look like it's a sight. So if you want to do it this way, just go ahead and skip this step. If you want to get a little more crazy, you go ahead and give this a shot. I imagine I'll probably speed this up. I don't think you want to see all this. Alright, same thing. Just going to go ahead and come through here, clean up this edge. Make sure it's not ragged. And then that's going to be the new profile on the side there. At this point, what we're going to want to do is get the arm assembled. And in order to get the arm assembled, we need the hand. This is the hand that we were talking about earlier. So we're going to have to make another cut here. So what I'm going to do here, since we don't need to save this bit, is just use my Army Painter clippers. They're my bad clippers. I mean, they work, but they're not great. I've got another pair I like a lot more. These are my single blade clippers. I love them. They're super precise, but they're definitely not going to cut through chunky plastic, which this thing does really well. And just like that, I got a hand. And now, like I said, I'm going to get this canister off here so I can reuse it. Originally, this arm is designed to sit here. What I want to do is I want it to come up here. In order to achieve that, we're going to have to shave off a little bit here, cut this tab, and round out some of this. So as you're doing this, you just want to come back and check your fit. Make sure you're not getting too far off. Pretty close to what we're wanting. I'm just going to take off a little bit more on this side and then smooth out the back side of that arm a little bit. We're going to get a fairly generous amount of glue on here. It's not really a uniform surface that we're going on to, so I want to make sure I've got a good bond between these parts. Another thing I'm going to do before I mount this is to come in here and slope this piece. What I want to do is have a nice angle here that would follow this angle here. So I get a general idea where I want to be. And then you can just come in, clip off the extra, and smooth out with your knife. Then come back, check fit, see if I need to do any kind of modifications. I think that's pretty good. I'll take off just a little more over here. Alright, yep, that's about where we want it. Get the glue on the ball, put the socket on. This gives you a rough idea of where that arm is going to be. So what we're going to want is a fairly generous amount of glue on this angle here that we created. That's going to help with adhesion and filling in any gaps that are left. We're also going to want a fairly large amount of glue up on the hand. Again, we want a good hold, and we also want to fill in any weird looking gaps. So now this is kind of up to you on how far back you want it. Mine's going to go right here. So here we are. We got the gaps filled here. We got a nice solid connection. This thing's not going anywhere. This arm is solid. We're good to go. That's done. One thing that we're going to need to clean up here is this back peg. Originally, it's going to support your secondary weapon systems. You can see here I just kind of clipped that off. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll just come in with our clippers, cut it down, and then we'll smooth that out with our knife, or if you want to grab some sanding paper, you can do it that way. Now that we've got that all smoothed out, cleaned up, we're going to need somewhere else to mount that. We're going to mount it on the left arm, since that left arm is no longer needed to be the support arm. Referring to your instructions, this is 3C. This is your left arm assembly. And again, it's not going to be in this configuration. We'll cut it, mod it a little bit. But this is what you're going to need to build that weapons platform. On this arm, I'm a little bit limited on the rotation in and out. And I really don't want a static looking model. So I'm going to see what I can do to Dremel out or cut out some of this so I can get a little bit of a sharper angle. A little bit more. I'm probably going to have to actually cut down this back so it can sit up against there. It's not a big deal. You're really not going to see this angle, but you do want to kind of keep it as clean as you can. Alright, yeah, I'm good with that. So this will give us a nice platform to put those weapons on and a pretty good dynamic posing. We're not using it as a support arm, so I'll just go ahead and clean that up. And then I'll just find where those finger joints are. Cut some lines in so it looks like they're actually still fingers. Probably no one's ever going to actually see that. But if they do, I want it to look decent. Over to the support weapons, like we were talking about, I'm going to go ahead and do the plasmas. Again, rule of cool. I think most people are probably putting the smart missile systems on here, getting that little bit of indirect. But these look a lot nicer, so we're going to do that. So now we got to decide if we're mounting it externally, both of them on top together. I think I probably like both on top together. So I'm going to come in and shave down just a little bit of this so that these sit closer together. That way we can make it look a little more unified and cohesive. A little bit at a time again. Easy to take it off, hard to put it back. Alright, it's a lot to get just a little effect, but I think it'll help in the end. Again, we'll put that sprue goo in there a little bit thick. It's going to push out. It'll cover that seam, and then afterwards I can come back in, flatten it up, scrape it so it's a nice cohesive piece. And now I've got my plasma. While that plasma is drying, we're going to come back over and mount the arm. A lot of glue on the ball, a lot of glue in the socket. Make sure you get a nice bond. In order to fill in this joint, all we're going to do is get a lot of the glue and dump it in there. The contact surfaces for this one are going to be these tabs up front and right on the back of these. I'll line it up on the front and then just rotate it down on the back. I did go ahead and build up the heads separately, because I figured you probably didn't need an instruction set on how to build the heads. So we'll go ahead and just drop that in there. Then I'm going to go ahead and mount the Hunter Killer Missile. That can go on the standard mounting point. No modifications needed for this. At this point, all you really need to do is a little bit of cleanup, and you'll be good to go. There's a couple of other pieces that are left from the gun. You can decide what to do with these, if you want to do anything with them, if you want to put them on, leave them off. It's up to you. One modified broadside, shoulder-fired railgun, just like those old XV88s. I love it. Like I said, this new kit's really good. I really enjoy it, but I love this too. This little guy, ready for some paint. That is going to be its own video though. Go ahead and hit subscribe, follow along, see what actually happens with this army. I've got a general idea, but that's about it. And it's going to be really fun figuring it out along the way. And I'll pass along what I figure out to you guys. Help get that creativity going and just share some ideas. I hope this has been helpful. Hope you picked up something. Go grab your kits. Go have some fun. I'll see you guys in the next one.